it's always a challenge because you're always looking to get better. And like you said, coming in a year ago, being at the FCS level for 9 years, recruiting is recruiting as far as the nuts and bolts of developing relationships and going out and getting guys. But there's definitely a magnitude, obviously, at this level that was for sure different for me with all the social media and those sort of things. It definitely was a big challenge. Also, I was just talking to Jeff about this earlier, but I was an offensive coordinator before I came here, so I didn't focus as much on recruiting. And it is and that's what I've kind of learned in the last year personally is, now that I'm not one of the coordinators here offensively, I have the opportunity to really grow in the recruiting department and be able to spend more and more time throughout the year in developing relationships and putting in that hard work. So I learned a lot, and I learned a lot from each of our coaches.
How much of a luxury recruitment at Clemson back when you committed to Clemson? What was that like?
My recruitment is a lot different. It's a lot different, but especially with the social media and how early we recruit now compared to back then. I mean, I got my first offers. It had to have been in the summer right before my senior year. I got my first offers. I think it might have been Rutgers or another school there. But and then I started getting offers throughout my senior year in football, and got my last one or two offers, I guess, when I was playing basketball. And so it's so much later. That's one of the bigger things. I'm sorry, so much earlier here now. We're going to find kids from 2018 and 2019. And as Coach said, though, we got to do a good job of making sure it's the right fit and being able to manage that and not just throw offers out, because our brand is getting better and better. The more we win and the more times we get kids on our campus, it's just getting stronger and stronger. So those would be the biggest things that are definitely the difference from, more than 16 years ago. Now it's 20 years ago, Yeah. Jeez.
How much of a luxury is it as a quarterback coach to have Deshaun and Kelly and Nick all being guys who have experience but are now coming back?
That's a great thing to have. Anytime that you go into your first year and you had Deshaun had some experience from 2014. Nick had very minimal experience. Kelly Bryant had no experience. And then you're able to cultivate those guys. This 2015 season was tremendous because Kelly Bryant got some reps. Obviously, Nick Schuster got more reps. And then obviously Deshaun grew as a quarterback. And now going into this season, to answer your question, it's so much more comforting because you have guys that have been in the system a little bit longer, understand the offense, understand the big picture, and then most importantly, understand how I coach and what my expectations are. And so I'm excited about working with these guys and trying to fine-tune some of the details and the little things for each of their game to help perfect them on the field.
Will Kelly and Nick still be co-second team guys going into the spring?
They will be, absolutely. They both did a lot of good things throughout the fall. Each of them had their opportunity to play. Sometimes they did great in games. Sometimes they struggled a little bit, which a lot of times that's what you need to happen so you grow from the mistakes. But I think you plug in Kelly in certain situations and you plug in Nick in certain situations, and that just depends on what the game flow is. And then that's going to, again, see how they do this spring and see how they come out of the spring to see if that changes at all. But that's how we're going to go into it heading into this spring ball.
Brandon, how can Deshaun get better?
Great question. I just had a conference with him for about 45 minutes, and it was great. We got to sit down and talk about goals, talk about things that we need to get better at, and there's a couple things that come to mind first. Number one, I think that his leadership can always get better. And he was good now. His leadership, he's got a style he's quiet. He's not a very vocal guy, as we know, but players gravitate towards him. And when he talks and he speaks, everybody listens. So as a leader, you can always grow in that category. So I challenged him again today, just find leadership opportunities to pull guys with you, because that's so critical with this team and going to win a national championship and to take us where we went this year. He had to do that as well. But he's got to do it a little bit different and a little bit more. You know, he's not a sophomore anymore. He's a junior. And so he's got to take that role of that, being a junior and being even another year of experience. So leadership was definitely one thing. You know, another thing would be his footwork. You know, you can always improve footwork. And I definitely think that he took a step forward with his footwork from 2014 season to 2015 season. But we always talk about at the quarterback position of it starts from the ground up. And for him to be even more consistent with his footwork will help him in turn be even more accurate. And he was accurate this year. But once again, as a quarterback, you're always looking to get a little bit better at certain things, and that'll help his accuracy as well. So those would be the top things that come to mind, and those are some of the things that we talked about earlier today.
Coach, how much did you collaborate with Coach Morris when he came in, and how much of an adjustment was it for the players to get used to your style, differences between yours and Coach Morris?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I talked to Coach Morris on the phone maybe one time, and then I met him for the first time when he was already at SMU and he came back into town, and I got to see him around here, and we got to communicate a little bit, maybe for 30 minutes or so. Really didn't talk about the players as much. It was just more chit-chat and just getting to know each other a little bit. But you know, I think the biggest difference is when Chad was here, Chad obviously was offensive coordinator, so he has got a lot more going on, and he's calling plays and he's making a lot of decisions. I was able to focus more on just the quarterback, and I think that's probably the biggest difference in what the quarterbacks would tell you from me and my teaching and what Chad did. You know, he had a lot going on. He was, you know, like I said, making a lot of decisions. And so I'm able to hone in, hey, what can I do to best make these quarterbacks better each and every day? And so just maybe being more detailed with footwork and those sort of things.
Anything else? You talked about brand, and Dabo's talked about brand, and I wonder how much the winning this season kind of put a spotlight, not just on, hey, this is a successful program now that's national championship caliber, but the way you won, the fun that you guys were having off the field, the dancing in the locker room, the work that you did off the field, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How much, and maybe that's something that maybe is more noticeable with the 2017 guys, but did you get a lot of that feedback? Like, hey man, I saw after the game the way you guys handled things,
Yeah.
and that's something I want to be a part of.
Absolutely. I think what we did this year, not just winning, but, you know, it enhanced our brand. You know, everybody that's been here in the past, whether it be recruits or other coaches, they know how strong this brand is, but it enhanced our brand by winning and then showing people how we do win. And y'all have seen it a lot, but it stems from Coach Sweeney. I mean, the fun that he has and that he brings to this program, it truly, it really goes throughout the program. And we have a blast at practice. We have a blast after games, and we're going to enjoy it. And we talked about it each week in our staff room. Coach Sweeney said, make sure you're having fun. Make sure your kids are having fun. And when kids see that on the news, it definitely helps. And it helps build that momentum that you're looking for. And that's what we've been able to do here with some of this 2017 and 18 class already.